Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Speak the Truth podcast. If you guys are just joining me, it's because I had to cancel the other live stream, and now we're up over here on this one. Don't worry, I went inside the settings and fixed some things, so hopefully it starts to stream just a little bit smoother now for everybody at home. Lots of things going on. We have suspected purchase of the mother of all bombs for Israel. That information has been leaked out. We're going to talk about why Israel has been denied a MOAB for so long and why they might possibly be getting one, and why I think that this report might not necessarily be true, that Israel will be getting the mother of all bombs. Further, we're going to be talking about Doge for a hot second here. We're going to be talking about Hezbollah. We're going to be talking about HTS attacking Hezbollah. We're also going to be talking about the first shipment of illegal aliens, i.e. criminals, that have arrived in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, otherwise known as GITMO. We got word the other day that they were expanding GITMO out to start housing all of these deportees and some of the worst, and it looks like for dang sure they took the worst of the worst that they've been rounding up over the last freaking week plus, and they are now arriving in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. So that is really good news as far as that's concerned. But with all of this digging into the federal government, mainstream media is getting a little bit pissed off, and I think a lot of government officials are as well. So now people are digging into Doge. And Doge, honestly, I mean, they've been doing some pretty good work. They've been finding a lot of freaking waste, but is it necessarily safe with the people that they have on their board?
So this is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online. So that would be one way that we could refer to him. He is now working at Musk's behest inside Doge. And we looked into his background. And so we found, several notable things, Aaron, one of which is that this individual has founded multiple companies, including one with another unfortunate name, Tesla.Sexy LLC, which he established in 2021. He would have been around 16 years old. Now, this LLC controls dozens of web domains.
So, Kara, you hear this.
All right. So who is Mr. Big Balls and where did he come from? Where did he come from? Texas Actual. Did you just come back in gifting out 50 Speak the Truth memberships again? You sure as hell did. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much. You are doing God's work keeping this channel running, bro. I promise you that. All right. So who is this individual that we're talking about, and should you be concerned about him all? Who is Mr. Big Balls? Mr. Big Balls is, I want to say he's nobody special, but he kind of is, because he's 19 years old and he's got 4 startup companies already. He filed for his first company at the age of 16. One of those companies happened to be a website hosting platform, and 2 of the websites that are on there that have since been taken down, it looks like, they've been able to go back and use Wayback Machine, and they've been able to discover that he was hosting what appears to be a Russian website and a Chinese website as well on his platform. Now, Big Balls is actually a guy named Edward Korestein, or Korestein. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce his name correctly. And before he was working for Doge, he was actually working on Elon Musk's team for Neuralink. Now, if you're not familiar with what Neuralink is, it is like a pioneering frickin' deal that Elon Musk came up with for brain implants. So he's got a 19-year-old, and they said in this video that we're not even sure if he's been properly vetted. Well, he's been working for Elon on neuro implants. This guy, I went back and I actually found some college people that were talking about him, people that have worked with him and things. They're like, dude, he's a genius. He's done a lot of really good things. He's able to code and do he's really, really smart in that realm when it goes down to it. And that's likely why they had him on the Neuralink team, and likely why he's working for Doge, because he's got this ability to dig through everything. But the main concern being that he was working for these different tech, or not working for the different tech companies, but at least being paid by these different tech companies prior to coming over to Doge. And again, those have since been shut down. So people are saying, well, would he have been able to actually get a security clearance if he was working for the federal government? Would he actually pass a background check? There's people saying he wouldn't. There's people saying he would. Truthfully, I don't know, man. I don't know enough about the kid to know whether or not he'd get a background check, but I do know that they have been finding a lot of stuff over there, and it sounds like they're just attempting to smear Doge. At 19 years old, I can't really see him in charge of too much stuff, but there is people ranging between 19 and 24, 25 that are on the Doge team that mainstream media is very concerned about. One of them reports directly to the chief of staff for Doge. So very good question of what exactly these guys are doing. Old Man Weiss coming in, gifting out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. Thank you, sir, very, very much. Now we're going to get back to what I was trying to talk about before the stream got interrupted last time. And what I was trying to talk about is HTS over in Syria attacking Hezbollah. Can't make this crap up. HTS in Syria is now attacking Hezbollah.
مشي الله أكبر يا رب يا رب يا الله يا الله يا الله يا رب اللهم سد درمي يا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر.
Yes, I agree. Texas Actual coming in, $10. He says, well, everybody is on the Israel topic, but can we talk about Russia losing their minds as Ukrainian already pushed through 3 defensive lines in Kursk, and Ukraine is on a media blackout, so hush, hush, push. Dude, they launched an offensive over in Kursk. You're absolutely correct. 100%. Ukraine did launch a freaking offensive over inside of Kursk. I'm waiting on more information to come out to actually talk about it. Like you said, it's all hush, hush, hush on what's going on over there. From what I've seen, they actually kind of like flanked around what appeared to be like the southern edge and kind of came up behind him and started pushing on him. I haven't got a lot of information on that. So Texas Actual, if you have that, I'd love to talk to you about that at the end. I am going to open up the Discord and we're going to have a chat as soon as this is over, and any information you've heard, I want to hear about it, and we'll pull up relevant links and things like that. So thank you for pointing that out and bringing it up, because it is like, I was looking into that and I wasn't able to find too much information, not enough for like a, full blown report on it. So what you've got would be great. All right. Now, oh man, it got out of order. So while we're on the topic of Israel, and while we're on the topic of, how poorly these people are treated, this was actually meant to be up front. So sorry, got a little bit out of order, but this woman, she is actually talking to a man that has lived underneath the Israeli apartheid state.
What was it like for you living in an open air prison?
I didn't live in an open air prison. From my perspective, I never faced any sort of prejudice from Israelis in general. For me, the vast majority of, I would say, bad things that I experienced came from my Arab brethren who lived in the same area that I live, who looked at me and called me names such as abd, which is slave in Arabic.
You literally just told me that you're not oppressed, or did not feel oppressed, but they called you derogatory slurs. It
wasn't Israeli Jews, it was Arabs who called me derogatory terms.
I don't believe that.
Oh no, the white girl doesn't believe the man that actually got oppressed by fellow Arabs. That's freaking wild. Sky God came in gifting out 20 Speak the Truth memberships. Dang, man, you guys are just blessing the chat today. Greatly appreciate it. It's like we are going on a membership drive, but we're not. And ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate every single one of you. If you're not a Speak the Truth member, or if you just got gifted one, I highly encourage you to consider becoming a reoccurring Speak the Truth supporter. You'll be able to do the live chats on the shows via Discord. Information gets dropped over on Discord. We have discussions, all sorts of crazy stuff that happens over there. And truthfully, I think our Discord community is probably one of the best on the planet. And at the end of the show, we're going to be doing call-ins from Discord. So if that's something you look forward to doing, you're able to get that. We will go ahead and drop the link over here for you guys. If the link that's currently on the YouTube homepage is not working. And in order to see that, you've got to go over to the community or the recent post, and you'll see link for Discord. If it's not working, we'll go ahead and drop a new one. Is the Discord fixed? It was never broken to the best of my knowledge. It's still working and running just fine. All right, now let's go over to the Gaza Strip for a second and start talking about that. Gaza Strip, here is Hamas, and probably one of the most notable things about this PR video that Hamas ended up releasing is all of the buildings that are currently standing in the back. All of the buildings currently standing in the back. For whatever reason, all of these buildings are there. Despite the carpet bombing that everybody likes to claim, despite it being completely and totally leveled, Hamas somehow releases this promo video for themselves and forgets that they showed a perfect place without a bunch of crumpled buildings. It's almost like they're probably hiding in those standing buildings and they just came out of them for this promo shoot.
يرى يا اخواننا ويسمع او يعرض عليه عملنا باذن الله سبحانه وتعالى. عشان كذا يا اخواننا بدنا نعرض عمل يقبل عند الله عز وجل ويفرح به إخواننا السابقين. جاهزين الجميع؟ جاهزين. أسمع شباب. أسمع شباب.
Now, do we really think that Hamas is going to continue on with this hostage exchange appropriately? Very good question. I don't know about you, but it definitely looks like to me like Hamas is ready to lay down their arms, not rebuild, and start attacking the Israeli Defense Force again. Yeah, not a snowball's chance in hell they're going to lay down their weapons. And so immediately following this hostage exchange peace deal crap that they got going on, or ceasefire agreement that they got going on, you better believe that it's going to ramp back up. And I've got a huge feeling now that Trump's in office and he's actually giving Israel what appears to be ironclad support, that Hamas is about to face a whole new set of consequences for their actions from October 7th. Texas Actual coming in, gifting out another 50 Speak the Truth memberships. That's absolutely nuts, man. You guys are blessing the chat today, and I appreciate every single one of you. Russian AC says, hi from Malaysia. When I went to House of Slave in Dakar, Senegal, they told me Arab has enslaved Africans since the 4th century. Also, I was stationed at GITMO, legal immigrant, and 20 years of service. I don't know where you put the illegals unless those run down camps. So they actually dumped a bunch of money into GITMO, and they expanded some of the camps. And so it's not like old school GITMO. They expanded it out in preparation for bringing them over there. I don't know if those are just like wire prison camps, kind of like they've got in like the Arizona, who's that Arizona sheriff that's got them all like locked up in like tent cities or whatever over there. I'm not sure if it's like that or if they built a brand new detention facility to hold on to all of them. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am wearing pants today. I can prove it. Thank you for asking. Yep. Look, I got pants on, no shoes right now though. Sorry. You're getting this broadcast in socks. So don't know why you guys want to know that information about me for what I'm wearing on a daily basis, but it is kind of nice. Now, over in Judea Samaria, otherwise known as the West Bank, Israeli Defense Forces and Special Operations teams have actually picked up their raids. They have been crushing it. Check this out. They have been going to town, and this video got dropped not too long ago highlighting some of these raids. There's also a lot of like bombings and stuff like that that are taking place over inside Jenin. I've often said that, you know, Israel's got multiple fronts that it needs to fight. We can count up to 7, 8, 9, 10, depending on how you want to look at it. But while everything is on pause over inside Gaza, everything inside the West Bank has ramped up significantly, and I mean significantly. They are going after these dudes left and right, as you can see here in this video. Now, what exactly did they get out of conducting these raids over the last 24 hours? It looks like they got 60 terrorists off the street. So they went over and they rounded up 60 terrorists. Now, that is a lot of them to be able to get out. They ended up pulling dozens of weapons out of the West Bank to include like M16s, M4s, shotguns, explosives, explosive devices, and precursors and bomb-making materials. So they ripped all that crap out of the West Bank as well. So their goal is to go in and start dismantling the PFLP. Good on them, to be perfectly honest, because it's something that needs to be done, and they are going after them pretty heavy. I've seen lots of heavy reports that they're actually going after them. They should be getting them after them pretty big. Now, this report that I'm about to put up on the screen, I think, is the one that everybody is very curious about. The mother of all bombs. Where did this come from? Where is this information getting out? Why is this German company believed? Because we're going to get to it. I see a lot of Arab media outlets that are actually reporting on this, and not a lot of, like, zero Western media outlets talking about the mother of all bombs and Israel acquiring it. So where did that information come from? Well, that information itself ended up coming over from, wait a minute, where did it go? Where did it go? I want to say it's Bilz is the name of the German paper, BILZ, that ended up publishing on it. This one right here says U.S. President Donald Trump has authorized the delivery of the most powerful non-nuclear bomb, so-called the mother of all bombs, to Israel. Well, I did some digging in, and it actually doesn't even look like he is the one that authorized that crap to go up to them. It was actually a foreign envoy or something like that, and he was talking to Fox News, and they are basically getting this information, trying to read between the lines of this media report. And I did my best to go over and like backtrack and try to find the dang thing, and I can't find it anywhere. Like I look really, really hard, and I can't find a report anywhere of it. So why these media outlets are feeling the need to go out and spread it? And there's people that are saying it's Donald Trump that's approved it. No, it's not. From what I found, it is somebody talking. Now, for those that don't know, Donald Trump is attempting to push $1 billion in weapon sales through the federal government right now to get approved to go to Israel. Israel wants to buy right around 1 billion weapons, and Trump has been pushing it through. Now, what I just read this morning was that there was a pause that was put on that weapon sale. Now, likely, more than likely, if that is the case, it is going to be in that $1 billion arms sale. Israel's been asking for MOABs for a really, really long time, and they haven't been able to get them. They haven't. And also, I'm trying to wonder where Israel would be dropping this sucker. And the only place that I can think is inside of southern Lebanon and some of these really big villages that they just know are freaking strongholds for Hezbollah. And so they can go and they can warn everybody to get the heck out of Dodge. And then they can, I mean, that's what I would be thinking. We'll go warn everybody to get out of Dodge and then drop a MOAB over the freaking urban area. The problem is that you're taking out pretty much every building. So in order for them to actually employ this sucker, over in any sort of urban environment, whether it's a village or anything else. Of course, like the most famous use of this was in 2017 over inside of Afghanistan, when the U.S. used this bomb against ISIS-K tunnel networks over in the Achin Valley. Well, it's kind of like off to the side, but either way, over in Achin is where we ended up dropping this sucker. Was it necessarily successful? My personal opinion, didn't have good effects on target. The tunnel systems were still intact. Supposedly, it killed like 70 ISIS fighters. But it is a 22,000 pounds bomb. Like, it is massive. It is the largest non-nuclear weapon that the U.S. has. So 22,000 pounds of conventional explosives, going out and dropping them over target. It's designed to burst in the air. Why is it designed to burst in the air? For the same reason nuclear weapons are, because explosions go out 360 degrees in all directions equally. And there is a certain distance off the ground that you want that sucker to go to maximize your blast radius hitting the ground. So if you think about it and it detonates on the ground, well, all of your energy is going right here, point detonation coming out on the ground and working its way out. If you bring it up, that blast, again, 360 degrees all the way out, is now covering a much broader space. Now, that space for the MOAB is about 1 kilometer. Supposed to take out pretty much everything within, 500 meters to the left or to the right of this sucker, all the way through. Man, is it true? Sure. I ended up seeing, and we can go pull up some of the past videos if you want, of the site that the U.S. actually dropped a MOAB on the ISIS tunnels. And what you'll see is that ISIS and those tunnels were pretty much intact. And there's videos of, Afghan commandos and stuff walking through for, major mainstream media outlets and everything else. But it didn't necessarily take them all out. And then I can tell you, like, you go a couple hundred meters outside that 500-meter blast radius, and what you're going to end up finding when you go outside of that is, yeah, you'll have broken tree branches and things like that. But for the most part, there's a lot of stuff that's still left standing after it. So when I look at this and I say, what the heck would Israel end up doing with this MOAB if that does in fact get approved, or if it ends up going through? I did try searching through the government database to see if I can find anything on an approval to purchase one of these weapons. Wasn't able to pull up anything. So I can't confirm it, but there's a lot of freaking foreign newspapers that are going back, quoting the original German source of this. And the German source isn't even really putting it out either. So are they going to get it? Good question. I got a feeling we'll hear about it. But if they were to get it, it's going to be from the Trump administration. Absolutely no doubt. Something else that I found that was really, really interesting today on the internet is this. USAID gifted a cement factory to Hamas, $310 million in U.S. taxpayer money that went to go create terror tunnels over inside of Gaza. So USAID ends up supplying all of this money to Gaza in order to build a cement factory. And it goes under the guise, or it goes supposedly, to help infrastructure. That is something that we do, for those that don't know. If we want to improve a population, we want to make their lives better, we will often focus on infrastructure, and we'll try to take care of that. Most common ways that people, look at this is like access to water, wells, things of that nature. Like all of those little like feel good things is stuff that normally we do. You have to excuse me for a second. Ugh. That's stuff that normally we end up doing. Building a cement factory, sure. But what are they building at that cement factory? Who's buying it afterwards? Well, it looks like Hamas was buying all this stuff afterwards, and all of those concrete slabs that you see going up inside of those tunnels, it looks like that's what where they got their concrete from. So USAID provides money to go to this concrete factory. They use the concrete factory then to build the tunnels that Israel currently has a problem with, also where, hostages have been held, U.S. hostages have been killed, and so on and so forth. It's absolutely freaking appalling. Now, this purchase went through all the way back in 2016. I shouldn't even call it a purchase. It's more or less a gift. Went through all the way back in 2016. And this is just yet another example of USAID funding the wrong people and doing the wrong things. Now, let's talk about sanctuary cities over here in the United States for a minute and what's actually going on with them. Check this out.
And I'm proud to be part of that.
I'm glad to hear that. Let me start with you've cracked down on sanctuary cities. The DOJ has put a pause on all federal funding to sanctuary cities and states. You filed a lawsuit against Chicago and the state of Illinois for being a sanctuary city. Am I wrong in my interpretation that a sanctuary city is aiding and abetting in lawbreaking?
Sean, what they're doing is they are choosing illegal aliens over the safety and security of their own citizens and the men and women of law enforcement who are out there trying to protect their citizens. Not only did we sue today the city of Chicago, we sued the state of Illinois, we sued the mayor, we sued the governor, and we sued others. And let me be very clear, if you don't comply with federal law, you're going to be next.
So not only is the U.S. government cutting off funding to these sanctuary cities, right, for violating federal law or skirting it or however you want to call it, whatever spin you want to put on it. Not only is our government cutting off federal funding to these cities, but they are also suing them. They're suing some of the states and they're suing some of the people in particular, like governors, mayors, et cetera, who are all complicit in this. So to me, that is a pretty big deal. And I absolutely appreciate it. I'm not going to lie. I think it's a pretty big deal to me. Oh my goodness. I just got another text. You guys are not going to believe this one whatsoever. Ladies and gentlemen, say hi to my children. They are watching. Boys, Justin, Ryan, and my beautiful daughter, Caitlin. I absolutely love every single one of you guys. Thank you for being so patient with me. I love you guys. You are like my heart and soul. Seriously, I love you guys and I miss you dearly. So, ladies and gentlemen, say hi to my kids down in the comment section. I love them. They're beautiful. They're great human beings. Very, very great human beings. I am thoroughly convinced my daughter is going to be the next Doogie Howser. It's absolutely ridiculous what she's going through. Now, all of these illegals that have been rounded up in the United States, they've taken the worst of the worst, and this is a video of them arriving down at Guantanamo Bay. These are the worst of the worst that are being housed at Guantanamo Bay. And as you can see, they're being flown in on military transport, and they have a special escort because of what a giant pain in the butt they are as far as a risk goes. These guys that are holding on to them, that are escorting them up over there, those are probably the highest pipe hitters that we have. As far as ICE is concerned. Excuse me. There they go. Now, where are all these people coming from? So yesterday, there was heavy raids focused in the Denver metro area. Those raids included cities like Thornton, Aurora, and Denver itself. And they went around, they started rounding them up. But the problem is there was a leak when they were going out to do one of these raids to capture these guys. There was a leak from within that alerted some of these gang members prior to them reaching them. Now, what were the effects of that? I heard from a couple, we'll call them sources of mine, that they did get a lot of freaking drugs off these people. They got a lot of guns off of these people, and they all had federal warrants. So not only did they have federal warrants, they had drugs and they had guns. Now, the question is, which I really want to know, why did it take a presidential action in order to get these people deported? If they're that bad and they have federal warrants, if they're that bad and they're selling dope, and they're that bad and they've got guns on them, they are also affiliated gang members, All of those things shouldn't matter when it comes to sanctuary cities. Those are just bad, violent people that need taken off the street. And yet none of them were getting rounded up until this ended up getting pushed through. So I'm very curious to see why, because if they were actioning those targets that quickly, i.e. they were conducting those raids at those particular buildings, taking those people off the street, they knew where the heck they were, or they had the ability to figure it out. So why did it take so long to make that happen? Why wasn't that done before? Who is it that's holding them back from getting these guys off the street? I thought the U.S. had a war against drugs. I thought we were already going after the cartel. I thought we were already trying to kick people out of the country that have violent felony criminal records and active warrants. Why would we not get those people off the street? What was ICE focused on before all that? I'm very curious, and I kind of want to know. When we ended up discovering that, 5,000? 5,000 yesterday. It got put out. 5,000 FBI agents were responsible for investigating January 6th. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. 5,000 agents of the FBI. Dude, you've got to be kidding me.
Let me ask you about the numbers. It's been reported that you've got a goal of 1,500 arrests per day. Are you hitting that? Is there pressure to reach that goal, to get the numbers up?
I don't have a quota. I don't have a goal. I want to arrest as many as we can arrest.
So there's no word from the White House, we need more numbers?
I have sent no quota out there, but I've told ICE, I was asked a question this morning, are you happy with the number of ICE arrests? No, I'm not. We need to do more. We got over 700,000 illegal aliens in this country with a criminal conviction. So 500 a day? No, it's not good enough. We need to find these people and take them off the street.
I love that. No, I don't have a specific quota that needs to get met. Emily Broadham coming in, giving out 20 Speak the Truth memberships. Thank you, ma'am. And for those that missed it, Texas Actual on the last stream before we had an interruption from YouTube, Texas actually came in, dropped 50 memberships. And he also had mentioned that Ukraine had launched an offensive over inside of Kursk, and there's limited information on it. It's very, very hush-hush right now. I tried looking it up, and all I could see was Ukraine had provided additional units and flanked Russia down to the south. And at the very end of the show, we're going to go over to the Discord, and we're going to be talking to Texas, and we're also going to be taking questions over there for the true supporters. So if you just got gifted a membership, go over to the homepage. Everybody that's watching this, please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't yet, because that's free. But becoming a true supporter allows me to continue to do what I do on a daily basis for you. And you also get the benefit of going into our Discord, coming on the live show, asking questions and everything else. There's several different tiers that you can get in. And you also get some special emojis that you can drop down over in the chat. And if you are a member of the Banana Gang, show them some of those emojis. I believe we got some Hunter Biden ones in there still. We got some really interesting ones. Drop those down in the chat if you guys want to use those, just to show people what they kind of get out of all that. I haven't seen you guys use those emojis in a while. Num Bono coming in, and he says, I found the article, the German newspaper's name, as source for the MOAB claim. It's from the JP. Top Trump official passes giving IDF real bunker buster strike to Iran. Okay, let's go ahead and pull that up real quick. For some reason, I didn't have that up there. Top Trump official passes on giving IDF real bunker buster. I'm not sure if that was kind of the original one. Jerusalem Post has this up. MSNBC ends up quoting them on this one from 2 days ago. Yeah, Steve Witkoff, U.S. Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, on Wednesday seemed to equivocate about providing Israel 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs that could destroy Iran's underground nuke facility. Israel already has bunker busters, he told Fox News. Israel has been seeking these weapons from the U.S. since the early 2000s. When Witkoff said Israel has bunker busters, he was likely referring to the 2,000-pounders. Yeah, we showed those last night on the stream, and you see where somebody 15 feet away from where the bunker buster enters the ground and then it detonates subsurface actually survives and is able to walk away, run away, not even affected by the freaking blast itself. So, yeah, they have those. They only have about 500 pounds worth of explosives in them, though. While it's true that smaller bombs, such as the 2,000-pounders, blah, 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 blah. So again, it all comes from them interpreting what he said in this Fox News interview. I went back and I listened to it. I didn't hear him say within that interview that they're going to be providing, the mother of all bombs. So if you guys can actually find where he says that they're going to get the mother of all bombs, please let me know. but I haven't been able to find him saying that whatsoever. If you do see it, by all means, tag me over on frickin' X. You guys just tag me. Let me know if you actually find it, because I haven't been able to find it, and I looked for quite a while this morning. All right, moving on. Phoenix, Arizona. They are getting pretty pissed off at all the ICE raids, and it has now escalated overnight to local police having to use tear gas against the crowds.
And if you do not disperse, you will be subject to arrest or other police action. Other police action could include the use of chemical agents or less lethal weapons, which may inflict significant pain or result in serious injury. Please leave this area immediately.
Check it out, guys. They ain't playing out here. If you guys are watching this and you guys are over there still, they ain't playing. Look at this shit, guys.
El Departamento de Policía de la Ciudad de Phoenix ha declarado que esta asamblea es legal en el nombre del pueblo del Estado de Arizona.
They out here, guys. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. I don't know how close I could get, but shit. They're right. Check it out.
The City of Phoenix Police Department hereby declares
those just appear to be smoke grenades.
In the name of the people of the state of Arizona.
There it is. That's that gas. That's that tear gas right there, guys. Call of Duty shit.
So CS canisters, from what I've seen when they go off, anyways, the CS gas that I am used to that gets deployed is white. So if I'm seeing yellow or green smoke like that coming off, to me, that's a smoke grenade. I used to do the same thing before I started screwing with people. I'd throw smoke grenades because people don't know what it is and they get scared and they run away. Doc Rob comes in. He says, missed the last few days, got married on the 5th. Dude, congratulations, Doc Rob. Congrats, man. That's huge. I am glad the PHX are doing something aside from being corrupt for once. Well, it looks like they're finally going after him. So this, to me, when I see green smoke like that, that's not necessarily them deploying CS. It's just regular colored smoke. CS is going to be like a white looking smoke.
Arizona Revived Statute 132019 prohibits remaining present at an unlawful assembly. And if you do not disperse, you will be subject to arrest or other police action.
That's a menthol tear gas? Never heard of it.
Or less lethal weapon, which may inflict significant
This is for you guys right here. For all the people right here watching, this is for you guys. I'm on 11%. Let's get it. They're shooting that.
I can't do it. I can't do it at all. Yeah, whoever said menthol tear gas, I don't know if you were joking, because that'd be a funny joke, but I also could see us having a menthol tear gas. It wouldn't surprise me. Like a nicer, more kind tear gas developed in the United States for use against protesters. But regardless, if they did use tear gas, that quite literally means liberal tears were flowing over in Phoenix, Arizona last night. Patrick Loudon says, did you see the report that Russia tried launching another Orsnik missile, but it failed and exploded in Russia? No, I did not. But at the end of this, when we go start talking about the assault over inside of Kursk in Russia that Ukraine has launched, we're going to go ahead and we're going to look that up as well. Sky God coming in at $49.99 says, breakfast for the Tardios. Greatly appreciate you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So we've got that going on over there as well. Now, let's see here. This is another video as part of those ICE raids.
Guys off the street, send the GITMO. Come home safe, every one of you.
Hey guys, we can rally up. Border Czar Tom Homan rallying the troops ahead of a massive federal operation in Aurora, Colorado Wednesday morning. Several hundred federal agents from ICE, HSI, DEA, FBI, ATF, and CBP, all targeting alleged members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua.
Now, these are the ones that I was talking about yesterday or last night on the podcast. Like I said, dope, guns, and federal arrest warrants across the board.
Tom, you guys have hundreds of people out here. What's the goal today?
The goal today is send a message to TDA that we're going to eradicate them from this country. There's no safe harbor. There's no sanctuary for them folks.
Fox News joined as one team of agents arrived at the Aurora apartment complex that went viral last summer when TDA gang members were seen on security video with guns.
Watch your backs on the doors now. Feet up. Please open the door. Please open the door. Policia!
As the team went door to door, they found blood-stained walls, but no gang members. The entire complex was virtually empty. At a second Tren de Aragua link.
Now, so you guys are aware, there was a leak And that leak got out about the raids. And what you just saw was the potential leak to where they were able to all get away. He said that they have been able to identify the leak and he's going to get punished accordingly.
Complex, ICE was met by activists who taunted them.
So this idiot yelling this out, not knowing the situation and who they're actually going after. They're going after people with dope, guns, and federal arrest warrants for being actual criminals. But still, these idiots in frickin' Denver, in the Denver area, are shouting at the police officers as if they know what's actually going on, calling them racist and everything else.
And others who used megaphones to coach those living inside. DEA agents used flashbangs inside while serving a warrant. That led to a handful of arrests, but no TDA gang members. A stop at another apartment complex netted no arrests.
It seems like they were tipped off. They knew this was coming.
So yeah, I do get the impression that there were some intel leaks here, and I think that probably they did know we were coming, but we're still coming. And just because something leaks now and then it's not going to stop us.
Also on their radar, this previously deported Honduran illegal alien with.
Now, this is the jurisdiction of my old agency that went along and assisted on this. And again, dope, guns, and arrest warrants, federal warrants across the board.
Pending local charges for strangulation, kidnapping, and possession of fentanyl. Get the out of my neighborhood! Get out! While activists yelled outside, agents recovered this stolen rifle from inside the man's home.
And guys, officially.
Is that obstruction, them sitting there yelling off to the side? No. The people with megaphones shouting, warning the people in the building? Maybe. I mean, you could push it, but you also got to understand the jurisdiction in which those people are going to get tried. And it is a very liberal area over there for everything that's going on. The DA over there is notorious for dismissing charges. I had charges dismissed once for a lady that kicked me in the balls for assault on a peace officer. Just so you know. So yeah, if you want to push, I don't know, obstruction charges for that, it's probably not going to go anywhere in that jurisdiction. That's one of the sad things, is that's like a consideration that officers have to actually take into their minds as they're going about doing these things is, if I actually make this arrest, will they even be tried? Because that's the district attorney, elected official, that wants to go about doing those things. And if the DA is not going to press charges, then the officer is not going to waste their time with it. Now, on this American Airlines flight inbound to Houston, some frickin' knucklehead thought it'd be a good idea to start kicking out the window. And luckily, some people stepped in.
Here's shoelace here. I got Tyson. I got it, baby. You get that wrist? I got his wrist right here. Let's get his arms first here. This is his arm. I got his arms. You got it in? No. It's not on. Come on, bro. Suéltame, bro. Fuck it. Fuck it. Get around and then pull.
Chad coming in saying ignorance can't be taught, but you can fix it. Absolutely. Now, if somebody is kicking out a window on an airplane, that's likely to kill somebody when it's cruising at altitude. So is deadly force authorized? Yeah, probably. Okay. I'm not 100% on that, but it definitely seems like it should be. Because God only knows they'll find a way to charge you if you do man things these days. But at least we had a bunch of men step up and actually start taking control. They actually started taking off their shoelaces in an attempt to bound his hands. One thing's for dang sure. Evil is going to succeed when good men do nothing. And here you have a case, which I love because it's inbound to Houston. So you got a bunch of Texas residents on that plane. They see a guy trying to kick out the window. They're not going to stand for it, and they immediately take action. You get a bunch of men that come up and actually detain the guy. And this is good masculinity. This is what should be promoted in this country. Men are supposed to be the protectors of society. And I hate flying myself, But Lord Almighty, do not try to kick out a dang window when I'm on the aircraft with you. I'm not going to be this nice. You are going to be very bloody by the time I cuff you. You are going to be absolutely jacked up. Other thing I would advise for people, for the love of God, learn how to tie a knot. I ended up in the comment section of this video that I posted, okay, in the comment section of this video that I ended up posting, I also gave a link, all right? I also ended up giving a link for how to tie basic handcuffs. This is a Prusik knot, all right? So I'll give you guys a catch. This is a Prusik knot, all right? And this, to me, is one of those, like I said, I want you guys to be incredibly smart and good thinkers. This is a Prusik knot. Some people call it a Prusik knot, but these are called Prusik cuffs or Prusik cuffs, and this guy's going to go over how to tie them. It's quite simple. They could have done this with their shoelaces on the plane really, really fast. You can tie this into under a minute. Lord Boosted comes in, gifting out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. Ladies and gentlemen, you can carry these on an airplane. You can put them in your, coin pocket on your pants. They fit pretty dang small and you can carry them around. You don't have to necessarily have steel cuffs. You don't have to have zip cuffs. You can carry these around. I used to carry these around over in combat as a secondary for when I ran out of everything else. I always had a bunch of Prusik cuffs in my camelback all the way at the bottom. I'd throw them in there and wouldn't have to worry about them. Now, this guy is using 550 paracord to tie them. It works very well. I'd even suggest that you actually gut the 550 cord to do this. You don't have to, but I suggest that you do. It slides a heck of a lot easier and you can get it a heck of a lot tighter. And all you have to do after you make those little loops is put the hands through it. All you have to do is put the hands through it and you're done. You're done. You cinch it tight, you tie a knot, and their hands are bound pretty freaking tight and they're not going anywhere. It's a great tool, guys. Learn how to tie these. Go over, watch these videos. Like, learn how to do stuff like this. This is basic dude stuff, right? I love Pat McNamara. Pat McNamara teaches basic dude stuff. This, to me, is a basic dude stuff thing. It's a very simple knot. It's used in climbing and several other things, all right? But it also has other uses. And in this case, to make handcuffs, he's going to pull it off his finger and he's going to put the 2 loose ends right through the middle before he cinches it down. And that's what's going to give you the loops to put the hands through. It's great. It's freaking great. Go over to my Twitter account that you guys see down here and you'll end up seeing, all right, the post about the airplane in my feed from this morning. And you go in the comments section, you're going to find this video. All right. That's where you're going to end up getting this. It's pretty dang simple. If that's a place to go do it, if you want, I'll go ahead and drop a link for you guys over there that are currently watching the show over on YouTube that are not on freaking Twitter. So let me copy the link. Let me drop it over here in the YouTube video. And that's not it. Oh, come on. Do what I tell you. There we go. There's the link to that YouTube video I just dropped in the chat. So you guys, if you want to learn how to tie these cuffs, there's the link in the YouTube video. You can go over there and learn how to do it. You can do it with shoelaces. You can do it with paracord. You can do it with freaking twine. It doesn't matter, guys, but you can have these on your person if you need them. If you're concealed carrying, I highly suggest you grab yourself a pair of those as well because they will come in handy. And like I said, you can shove them in your pocket. Why not have them? Why not have a simple, cheap way of detaining people in case you get in a fist fight, they're still violent, and you want to hold on to them until the cops get there? Now, this is another story I never was able to get into, but it looks like Secretary of State Marco Rubio himself actually seized a private jet over in Venezuela. That's him slapping it up there. This is something I didn't do enough deep dive into for you guys, but it's definitely something that... I don't know. This is a first for me, seeing a Secretary of State personally seizing an aircraft over inside Venezuela. I have no idea what they did it for. I haven't looked into it enough yet. If you're interested in it, you feel free to go check it out, but it definitely looks like they're on it. This video itself gets into a lot of Doge spending. And I mean, I could put it up on the screen for you guys and you could hear about it. It's about a 5-minute video and it is a buttload of freaking spending from Doge, and where they are getting it from. USAID, excuse me. Let me put that up there, but just to give you a rundown, if you want to hear about it for a minute.
Discovered, I find it fascinating. He discovered that the American taxpayers are giving money to Afghanistan. He found that we are giving money to Yemen. He found that we are giving money to Syria. I didn't know that.
Why don't you know that? I'm going to stop right there. Why didn't you know that? Because I knew that. And a lot of people that follow this channel also knew that. And it hasn't just recently started underneath Biden, if we're going to be perfectly honest. Humanitarian aid supplies have been being supplied through USAID over to Yemen for quite some time, to the tune of over $1 billion. I mean, we've been dropping it like it's hot, even under the Trump administration, period. So we don't get to sit there and an excuse. And this is where I get pissed off at our federal government. If I knew that and I was reporting on that, why the hell didn't our lawmakers know that they were supplying funding to these people, to these like different nations? Because we've all talked about it. Mainstream media has talked about it. And yet we have members of our federal government that approve the budget for USAID. Didn't know that? For the love of God. It didn't take Doge to come up with that information. This is a failure of our U.S. lawmakers as well. They're, in my opinion, a lot of these U.S. lawmakers are trying to cover their tracks, trying to cover up and say they didn't know. That's not an excuse for me. That's not an excuse. It shouldn't take a 19-year-old tech guru to freaking go in and search some records for you to discover that, you know, USAID has been providing money to all of these people. Good night, man. It's absolutely absurd. 8.3 million for equity, inclusion, education in Nepal, 3.9 million for LGBT causes in Macedonia, 1.5 million for, quote, art of inclusion of people with disabilities in Belarus, 1.5 million to rebuild the Cuban media ecosystem, 7.9 million of taxpayer money to a project that would teach Sri Lankan journalists to avoid binary gender language, and on and on and on. I mean, it's just, it's so much that I don't even feel like wasting your time to go over it. It's just enough that you know that there's a lot of wasteful spending that was occurring. Texas Actual coming in, and he says, because they are not subscribers, guys, hit the sub button to stop being lame. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, stop being lame. It's freaking free. It's a hell of a good channel. We do live broadcasts every single day. Get on over here.
Mark Moyer, he's a USAID whistleblower, and he joins me now. So, Mark, you started at USAID, and what'd they do the first thing? Did they send you to DEI camp?
Yes, and great to be with you, Jesse. So I didn't get into the agency till February 2018, and this is one of the big differences that we're already seeing. That in 2017, Trump administration was very slow to get into the agency. So I get there in February, and we have what's called a privilege walk as part of the orientation, where you are given an identity. Now, I was a Scandinavian woman, and so when they read lines like, you know, I get discriminated against because of government services, or people don't look how I look. So you took a step forward if it applied and if it didn't. And so I ended up near the front, and you know, the indigenous woman with, you know, unwanted pregnancy and the male prostitute were at the other end. And then we talked about our privileges.
All right. So you were trained to be a Scandinavian woman in a privilege walk, not root out corruption. What kind of disguises do they use to fund these projects?
Okay, I really don't care at this point. It's absolutely absurd that part of his orientation training is him dressing up as a Scandinavian woman or having to role play as a Scandinavian woman over at USAID. Like, that's, I mean, just such a waste of time. And I get DE&I and all of that other stuff when it comes to certain roles, but that's taking it just a step too far. Talking about what different privileges you have and so on and so forth. All of that goes back to critical race theory. And I think, truthfully, they need to do a good look at it, because especially when we have things like this going on. Now, this allegedly, I'm not sure what prison it's coming out of, but allegedly this is a bunch of black prisoners that are treating males like dogs in memory of Black History Month.
Get him, boy! 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 Get him, boy!
Like, for the love of God, can we please talk about actual racism and what it looks like? Sure. There is little things like, you know, like your covert racism that takes place on a daily basis, and you're never going to get rid of it. But at the point where we have people that are openly doing things like this, and I get that they're prisoners, I get they're in jail and everything else, but come on, man. Like, really? Why isn't this being shown on mainstream media? Like, why? How is it not? And why aren't we outraged by all of that garbage? Because we absolutely should be. There is actual racism in this country, and we should be diming it out, and we should be talking about it. That video, in my personal opinion, is 1,000% racist as hell. 1,000%. They're using racial slurs. The fact that I can repeat what they were calling those people is an issue, is an absolute issue. I can use the term that they used, boy, and YouTube isn't going to censor me, but I can't say the N-word because I'll absolutely get censored. Holy flipping crap. Now, I am up over in Discord, willing to take your questions, ready to talk to every single true supporter that ends up rolling in there. Well, for the amount of time that I have, I'm going to give you guys until 10:30 to have a nice little discussion. Texas Actual, thanks for jumping in here, brother. Dude, can you talk to me a little bit about what you've heard for this assault that's taking place over in Kursk and also the Orshank? Did you hear about the Orshank exploding inside Russia, that it didn't work?
Hi, how are you? Yeah, I can't tell you anything about Kursk more than that's known to the public because, like I said, there's a media blackout completely. Even locally, it's like all the information. 90% of the information you're seeing is from the Russian side, and they're they're trying to show you all the the repelling of the assaults, but like you can clearly see and you geolocate where these videos come out of, and then you're like, oh wait, Ukraine has reached already there. Ukraine has reached already this. They've pushed pretty far. As far as I know, it's almost to the scale of. I mean, they're comparing it to the scale of Kherson stuff. So I don't know. I'm not going to comment on it as far as like. I could just say my opinion from public information. As far as the Orshank, I did hear there is intel that it's been launched. It was the Ukrainian Air Force, obviously through radar and whatever else they're using, we're tracking it, and it failed and it nosedove in Russia somewhere.
Yeah. Now, do you think
so? That is information on it.
Do you think Ukraine is finally launching offensives now that Zelensky has talked to Trump and they've kind of had a discussion about providing weapons and everything else? Like, do you think maybe Zelensky kind of put a pause on everything because that seemed a little unclear until he got in office?
I don't know. I think they waited for the ground to freeze, and they waited for the like. There's obviously that period that you can't really do anything. It's like you can really not do nothing. You can't move armor. You can't move vehicles. And especially like you're talking about moving them in now into like deeper in Kursk, which Russia's been bombarding, and the conditions of the roads there weren't pretty before any Kursk offensive started. So like to move armor and all these stuff and 2 months ago, I would say you'd be sitting in mud. So like again, I don't know exactly. Like I can't really speak of why they're doing it, and I couldn't like I was telling people this when we were talking about the original Kursk offensive, and everybody was like, "Why are they wasting troops?" You don't know what the plans of the command is. They have obviously goals, and they obviously they're not like. Command structure over here is actually cleaning up quite nicely. So there's not only Kursk happening, like there's Pokrovsk. The Russians are still not in the city, and they've already we're talking about like they're taking insane losses, and funny like we're talking on this like even the Russian military general, hold on, let me pull this one up, made a comment about that donkeys, because like they were asking why they're seeing so many donkeys on the front line by Russian positions, and like Russia hauling like ammo from trench to trench, like walking a donkey. The State Duma explained that the appearance of donkeys on the front line, General Sobolev said donkeys on the front line are perfectly normal. Like
nice.
It's wild. Like people, I don't know. I just know that yesterday was a good day for the Ukrainian Air Force. The first 3 Mirage fighter jets arrived in country yesterday, and they apparently got another batch. And if we're gonna count batches like the last batch, then they got another squadron of F-16s.
Wow.
As well in the same day. With that being said, I don't know why people are so excited on the long range stuff that Ukraine has been lifted. Ukraine has been doing long range stuff for so long, but they've been using their own stuff. So
Correct.
like it wasn't really like it wasn't really like a thing where they're like, whoa, it was lifted. Now we're gonna go. They've been like doing long range.
They have, and up to I think it's 1,400 kilometers deep is like the furthest one, or maybe it was
Further
18.
than that,
Was it 18?
There's been one much further than that.
Yeah, it's pretty deep inside Russia, like 1,800 kilometers. I mean, they've been able to
There's
strike
a lot
really deep
of
using drones.
A lot of weird stuff happening, brother. Like it's just like, okay, here's another one. Really weird. Yesterday's the first time since 2022 that the U.S. Air Force had RC-135 reconnaissance aircraft over the Black Sea.
Okay.
Like doing like it's just the stuff that Trump is doing. I think he's poking at Russia. Somebody made a statement that Trump is ready to. This is Keith Kellogg. He's something with Trump's team. Trump is ready to double sanctions to force Russia to end the war in Ukraine. He made just a public statement. Currently, sanctions against Russia are rated on a scale. On a 3 on a scale to 10, like from 0 to 10, it's only 3 at this point. He says Trump is ready to go to 6. Like if this is only 3, I don't know like what 6 is gonna be. But yeah, it's just there's something happening, something that there's a lot higher morale here. Like I'll tell you that much. The guys are working, and I don't know.
So have they kind of changed their mind, like on Trump? I guess it would be another question I have, because there was a lot of hate for Trump over inside of Ukraine following like the border bill that didn't get passed, which of course had a ton of Ukraine funding on it. And people got really pissed. Has that like feeling on the ground kind of swung since he came into office in the other direction?
I mean, like, look, I could say this. Like, I asked somebody, and this guy is, when I met him, he was just on a sergeant level, and now he's a battalion commander. And I spoke to him. We had a chat not that long ago, and we were chatting about Trump and this whole like change. He said, "Look, I don't know what people's problem. People, when it comes to Ukraine, people like to put words into Ukrainians' mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Like people like to talk for Ukrainians. Like, how about you ask the actual Ukrainians?" So that's number one. Number two, I believe also that, and this is something he said. He said, "Why hate on Trump? Did he stop anything that was already being given to Ukraine? No, not one thing, not one shipment that was already. Yes, USAID is right now halted to everybody but Israel and Egypt, but USAID gave a lot to Ukraine, but not when it came to the actual combat, anything that has to do related with that. I could tell you that I've personally seen USAID stuff being delivered, like portable, these little boots for like checkpoints. It says donated by USAID on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the things that by the way, what you're playing is Russian videos released from the Kursk. These are all Ukrainian vehicles getting hit, but none of them are. They don't show any of the reconnaissance, like the actual drone that's watching these FPV drones, the aftermath, because most of these vehicles drive away. It's. I don't know. It's. I think it's good. I think there's something cooking to the point where if Trump has the balls to go against everybody in every position of leadership around the world besides Israel and say the U.S. is going to take over Gaza, like we're just going to own it outright. I think that he has the balls when shove comes to it and tell Putin you can roll out of like Ukraine, including Crimea, very, very nicely, or or I'm gonna just push you out, like something like that. You know, he's gonna be like, you have enough land on your land, go there, and then he's gonna be like, all right, now we build Trump towers on Crimean beaches and stuff. Like,
Well, that's not what's going to happen. It's just making sure that, I mean, one, I don't know, maybe it could happen. Trump towers being built
Yeah, I
on
see it
Crimean
happen
beaches.
down the road.
Yeah, I take that back. I mean, I could see that happening. Now, I mean, if I'm being honest, I could totally see it happening. And it would be good for the people of Crimea to have like really, really nice resorts
100%.
over there, especially ones that are not subject to cluster munitions that accidentally fall down due to like an insane war taking place. But yeah, man, I think with this new introduction of the, you know, securing funding through, you know, having it basically backed by those, you know, natural resources and having those up over on the front lines, it basically is going to do what we talked about, forcing the United States to give the proper amount of stuff to the Ukrainian armed forces in order to push and break the Russian lines. Like,
yeah,
I think you hit the nail on the head.
I think he's doing some stuff that like, and Ukraine is doing too. Like, if you like, people have been sleeping in the last month, in the month of January of 2025, Ukraine has hit 30 out of the largest oil refineries in Russia. 30, not 2, not 3, not 10, 30 in 1 month. Where does Russia make any of the money that they make?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oil. And there's your oil and gas, and this is what they're doing. Like, Ukraine, people have been sleeping on. By the way, look at the video I just sent you.
Okay.
That's pretty much that Russia asked for the sun at night, and Ukraine sent it to a drone and a refinery. And here's your little map of that. It's just like people have been sleeping on that, and it's a good thing, because the more people sleep on it, the more, like, I was saying, that's just the map of the refineries hit, and then the video right before that is the actual.
I mean, that's
one
a
the
hell of a
actual
lot of refineries, and you're right. They started pushing that oil all the way over to China. I think China was the one that was buying a big bulk of it for a while there. So
yeah, and India just stopped buying also. India's like, yeah, we don't want to fuck with Trump, and we also don't want to fuck with sanctions, because they couldn't money, because you have these banks won't process payments in Russian currencies, and it's just a big shit. People sleep on this, and some of us would say that it's a good thing that people sleep on it, because let them talk about Israel, and let them talk about like Trump and deportation and all of these things. Look at that, they gave him the sun at night.
I was like, well, that was pretty anticlimactic, and I was like, nope, it wasn't.
And it goes on for a while.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
I mean, you have that initial blast followed up by like the actual, you know, what do you call it? Sympathetic detonation.
Fire.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's awesome. That's a pretty cool video. All right. Well, that's good news, though. I mean, I'm happy to hear that Ukraine is actually on the march again, and it's about time. I mean, we haven't really seen Ukraine on the march for a while, so it's good to see. Juice Junkie, welcome in, man. Uh-oh. Juice Junkie.
Look at the last video I just sent you of Haima striking Kurt.
What's up?
What's up?
So, yesterday I was watching some. Yeah, hold on. Let me see. I gotta mute my TV. There we go. Yesterday I was watching a news station from Ukraine in English, and they had a F-16 fighter pilot on there, and they're talking about getting like 8 to 10 of them to go over to Ukraine and see if they could fight and train other fighter pilots. I mean, that would be pretty badass, because the Ukrainians already know how to fly. They just need to learn the controls and switches for the F-16 there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as simple as that either. There's a lot that goes into it. I was talking with Colonel Fisher about that, and like how long and how many hours I actually have to put into it, and it's pretty extensive. But you're absolutely right. I mean, it should be happening, and the amount of pilots that actually graduated versus, you know, everything that we saw was a lot less, I think, than we expected. They do have a lot of assets and things like that. So I mean, they do need more. Like, the more planes they can get on station, the better. Of course, with that, as you start bringing those planes up, now the cost of operation, munitions, and freaking flight hours and maintenance and all of that crap needs to be accounted for as well, the more that they get them online. Other big contributing factor to that a lot of people don't even consider or think about has to do with the people on the ground that need close air support, that are directing close air support and being able to talk directly with those pilots. So lots of stuff that ends up going into that.
Yeah, F-16 is perfect for that because it could do the close air support and fly and take out drones and those glide bombs and shit like that for them.
The glide bombs for damn sure.
They got like 6 to 8, like, what would you call them? Missionary fighter pilots or some shit like that?
I don't even know what I call them. I don't even know what I call them. All right.
Yeah,
what you got, friend?
Hey Matt, so yeah, going back to the Beavis family, from I think this morning or yesterday morning, or
the information that they're not their bodies are going to be released.
Can we really trust Al Jazeera? Because
so here's why. So here's the thing. I get it. Al Jazeera, pain in the butt. Nobody likes them, everything else. But they've also been embedded with Hamas. And this is not the first time that they were killed in an airstrike that Hamas has actually reported. And so they're doubling down on their statement. And if Hamas is talking to Al Jazeera, I would consider that pretty reliable as far as, sourcing is concerned. And so it's reporting that Hamas is saying, it's reporting that this is what Hamas is saying. And I don't agree with suppressing that information because if anything, Al Jazeera, again, being embedded with Hamas and having ties with Hamas to be able to put that information out there, I don't think it's a bad thing to report on because, one, if Hamas is lying about it and they're actually alive, they're even bigger assholes than I gave them credit for. Number two, Al Jazeera is, as much as I hate them as a media outlet because they are very biased, they do have connections with Hamas and they have been on the front lines with them. So yeah, I mean, why not? That's what makes sense to me. I got asked why I put that out yesterday, and that's exactly why. Because Al Jazeera has connections with Hamas. And this is the second time Hamas has stated that I'm aware of, at least. So as hard as it is for people to hear that, people need to hear it, in my opinion.
Yeah, because when I saw that Amir posted on his Telegram about like the hostages being released, basically, let's say tomorrow, he said that we don't know about the Beavis family yet. I'm still being hopeful that they are still alive, and hopefully they will get released soon. But on one hand, I trust Al Jazeera, but on the other hand, I'm kind of doubting Al Jazeera at the same time.
Sure.
If you know what I mean.
Sure. Well, I mean, I trust that Al Jazeera talks to Hamas, and I trust that Hamas has already claimed that in the past and that they're now claiming it again. So if Hamas is saying that they're dead, they're dead. And if Al Jazeera is reporting that they talked to Hamas and saying that they're dead, well, and it turns out that they're alive, well, now I got to turn around and I got to slam Al Jazeera and demand that they issue a freaking statement as to why they said that. Because Al Jazeera has been slamming this channel with like copyright infringement and crap like that for a while, even though it falls underneath the fair use policy. So now I've got another copyright strike that I have to go defend because of Al Jazeera that just hit the other day. So
of course they are copywriting us.
Well, right. They don't like it. And the first time they ended up doing it was on a video that I added additional context to, which absolutely needed it. It was of a Gazan that was being escorted by the IDF and being followed by a drone. And they were like, look at the IDF using this guy as a human shield. And I went over and I was like, that's not what they're doing. And then they started explaining it. Exactly. Al Jazeera got pissed off about it. That's not my fault.
Okay, yeah. Because I'm not doubting you or anything, but I'm kind of doubtful that they are dead, but I just wanted some clarification, and I'm crossing my fingers that they are still alive, and hopefully they get released soon.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like kind of hard to like trust them because since they've been posting like bad sources and all that, and don't basically misinformation And so I'm like, can we really trust them? And so yeah.
It's just like anybody else, right? I will analyze it and apply my opinion to it. And my opinion is that Al Jazeera has been known to be embedded and talk directly with Hamas. I have no reason to believe that that line of communication has been broken. This is also the second time that Hamas has stated that. And so one of two things is now true, right? Either they are dead, which is very unfortunate, and the world should hear about that, or they're lying about it, in which case the world should absolutely hear about that, because now Al Jazeera and Hamas are both flipping savages.
Yeah.
Either way, it should be reported, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
BB,
Okay,
what you got, buddy? Thanks, Russ. I appreciate you.
Something to try and lighten the mood for the day, the humor. You check in the Discord live chat for us there. The last thing I posted. So the BBC said, public invited to suggest names for the next Archbishop of Canterbury. And there's just one reply that wins the internet for the day.
Public did what now? Hold on, I'm opening the link as we speak. Oh, wow. Okay, got it pulled up. What do you have on it?
All right, no, if you bring it up in the Discord lounge chat where we're in.
Yeah,
there's a picture underneath of that, underneath of their tweet that just cracked me up.
Oh, underneath their tweet? That's the one you want to see?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this one is the one that you want. Okay, one sec. Let me get that up on the screen. I got to dig through a bunch of tabs to put it up in there.
Oh, no worries.
Okay, let's take a look. What is it you wanted me to show?
The Pew Impul reply to that tweet. Can you see it?
Archie McBishop face. Archbishop McArchbishop face. It's the vote.
No, there's one of
there's one of that one. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. That cracked me up.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm just waiting for the names to roll on through. What they're gonna get rinsed with that.
Well,
I'm gonna
yeah, you want to explain why that's funny? On top of him just being Mr. Fafo from, Gaza, but
oh man, well,
where to even start, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we'll just let people do their own research on that. How about them apples? I think that's a good start. Thanks for pointing that out, man. That is absolutely hilarious. I love that. That really makes me smile. Seriously. That like.
But there's no other big news today.
No.
No.
It's
been pretty
there's
quiet
not
today.
Not at all. No. Nothing real huge just came out today so far.
Kanye West has lost his mind on X again. He's gone insane.
Oh, that's funny too. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is 10:30. I'm going to go ahead and bow down for a little bit. I've got some other stuff that I am going to take care of. Appreciate you guys for coming in and asking all the questions. It's Damon. When I see you next time that I go live, I'll make sure that I end up pulling you up next time. So we'll make that happen for you. Okay. All right. So thanks, guys. I'm going to go ahead and close this stage out. Appreciate y'all. Texas, again, thank you very much for providing all the information that you can within reason.
Yeah, of course, no worries.
Yeah.
Have a great day. Thank you guys for joining, and cheers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me for another episode of the Speak the Truth podcast. I'm going to be putting out a video later on this evening. Unless something drastic goes down, I'm going to take Friday evening and spend it with the family. So I'll probably not be going live tonight. Either way, I love you guys. Peace.